Have you ever noticed something strange about humans? Right now, at this very moment, somewhere in the world, a fully grown adult is staring at a wild animal and wondering if it would be possible to pet it. It doesn't matter whether that animal is a deer, a fox, a seal, a raccoon, or even a creature capable of ending the encounter in a matter of seconds. Somehow, the thought appears anyway. Every year, wildlife experts repeat the same warnings. National parks install signs explaining why visitors should keep their distance. Zoos build fences, glass walls, and protective barriers. Rangers give safety briefings. Yet despite all of this, someone inevitably looks at a massive bison weighing nearly a ton and thinks, that giant fuzzy thing seems friendly. The question is simple, but the answer is surprisingly complex. Why do humans feel such a powerful urge to touch, pet, and connect with animals? To understand that impulse, we have to travel far back into humanity's past, long before cities, highways, smartphones, or skyscrapers existed. For the overwhelming majority of human history, people lived completely surrounded by nature. The world wasn't made of concrete and steel. It was forests, rivers, grasslands, insects, birds, predators, prey, and countless living creatures sharing the same environment. In that ancient world, survival depended on paying attention to life around you. A flock of birds suddenly taking flight could signal danger. Animal tracks might lead to food or fresh water. The distant call of certain animals could reveal opportunities or warnings. Understanding nature wasn't a hobby. It was a life-saving skill. Generation after generation, human brains evolved to become incredibly sensitive to living things. We became experts at detecting movement, recognizing faces, interpreting behavior, and noticing even the slightest signs of life. In fact, our brains became so good at it that we often see life where none exists. People give names to their cars. They get angry at printers. They apologize after walking into tables. Some even talk to their computers when they malfunction. Show a person a handful of moving dots on a screen, and within seconds, they'll start inventing stories about them. That one seems nervous. That one looks aggressive. That one is following the other. The dots aren't alive. They have no emotions or intentions. Yet the human brain instinctively searches for personality and meaning anyway. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes perfect sense. Mistakenly assuming something was alive when it wasn't usually carried little risk. Mistakenly assuming something wasn't alive when it actually was could become a fatal mistake. As a result, our brains evolved to pay attention to anything that resembles life. But recognizing life doesn't fully explain why we want to touch it. For that, we need to explore an idea proposed by renowned biologist E.O. Wilson. Wilson introduced a concept known as the Biophilia Hypothesis. At its core, the theory suggests that humans possess a natural attraction to living things. Not because nature is trendy, not because animals are entertaining, but because the human mind developed within natural environments for hundreds of thousands of years. Nature isn't foreign to us. It's our original home. According to this idea, the desire to watch birds, care for plants, visit aquariums, hike through forests, or stop and pet a dog isn't unusual at all. What may actually be unusual is spending most of our lives surrounded by screens, traffic, glass buildings, and artificial environments. Deep inside, part of the human mind still longs for the living world it evolved alongside. That explains our attraction to animals in general. But some animals affect us far more strongly than others. A baby rabbit often attracts more attention than an adult rabbit. A puppy receives more affection than a wolf. A panda cub can generate millions of views online within hours. Why? The answer lies within one of humanity's most important evolutionary adaptations. Human children require an extraordinary amount of care. Many animals become independent surprisingly quickly. A newborn foal can stand shortly after birth. Young wildebeest can run within hours. Many species mature rapidly because survival demands it. Humans are different. Human infants spend years relying on adults for protection, food, and guidance. That dependency created immense evolutionary pressure. Anything that encouraged adults to nurture and protect children became extremely valuable. Over time, babies developed features that naturally capture human attention. Large eyes, round faces, small noses, soft facial features, tiny proportions. Scientists refer to this collection of traits as the baby-schema. These characteristics trigger nurturing responses almost automatically. Interestingly, many young animals share the same features. Puppies, kittens, baby seals, countless species display traits that activate the same caregiving instincts inside the human brain. This is why people often don't consciously decide something is cute. The reaction happens instantly. Your brain makes the judgment before you even realize it. Once you understand this, much of modern internet culture suddenly makes sense. Open social media and you'll likely encounter a sleepy capybara soaking in a hot spring, a fluffy rabbit shaped like a loaf of bread, or a tiny Highland calf that looks more like a stuffed toy than a farm animal. Millions of people instantly experience the same reaction. I want to hug it. The decision has already been made. Sometimes that emotional response becomes so intense that it creates an unusual psychological phenomenon known as cute aggression. If you've ever looked at an adorable puppy and thought, I could squeeze you, you've experienced it. Despite how it sounds, cute aggression isn't actual aggression. Researchers believe it may function as an emotional balancing mechanism. When something is overwhelmingly adorable, positive emotions can become so intense that the brain generates a seemingly opposite reaction to regulate itself. It's why people say things like, "You're so cute I can't handle it. I want to squish him. That face is killing me." Nobody literally means it. At least, hopefully not. The important point is that cuteness influences human behavior far more deeply than most people realize. However, cuteness cannot explain everything. Nobody mistakes a fully grown lion for a baby animal. Nobody confuses a grizzly bear with a stuffed toy. And yet people still want to pet them. Why? Part of the answer involves one of humanity's most important social behaviors: touch. Humans are deeply social creatures. Physical contact helps build trust, reduce stress, and strengthen relationships. Handshakes, hugs, pats on the back, and holding hands all play significant roles in human bonding. Because touch is so important, humans often extend these social instincts beyond their own species. We talk to our pets. We celebrate their birthdays. We share secrets with them. We ask them questions even though we already know they won't answer. When an animal appears intelligent, expressive, or emotionally relatable, we begin treating it less like an object and more like another individual. And once that happens, touching it feels like a natural extension of connection. But this still leaves one important question unanswered. Why do people try to approach animals that are obviously dangerous? Why does someone look at a lion, a bear, or an alligator and think, maybe it would let me pet it? The answer lies in another fascinating aspect of human psychology. People are naturally drawn to controlled danger. Roller coasters, haunted houses, skydiving, horror movies, cliffside viewpoints. These experiences trigger fear, excitement, and adrenaline. Yet millions of people actively seek them out. Fear and excitement are surprisingly similar sensations. Both increase heart rate. Both sharpen attention. Both create memorable experiences. Psychologists often describe this tendency as sensation, seeking the desire for novel, thrilling experiences. Few experiences feel more extraordinary than standing near a powerful wild animal. A lion represents danger. A bear represents danger. But when those animals exist within environments that feel controlled, such as zoos, parks, or guided encounters, the brain often focuses more on the excitement than the risk. The result is a dangerous mixture of curiosity, confidence, admiration, and poor judgment. People stop seeing a predator. They start seeing a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Unfortunately, the animal may still be operating according to its own instincts. There's another psychological trap involved as well. Humans are masters of anthropomorphism. In simple terms, we assign human thoughts and emotions to non-human things. When a dog looks guilty, we assume it feels guilt. When a cat appears annoyed, we assume it's irritated. When a lion looks calm, some people subconsciously conclude that it's friendly. But animals are not humans wearing fur. Their behaviors often mean very different things from what we imagine. A predator can appear relaxed moments before acting on instinct. An animal that seems comfortable may still perceive threats completely differently than we do. This misunderstanding creates countless dangerous situations every year. Yet, despite the risks, the desire remains. Humans continue visiting wildlife parks, zoos, nature reserves, and aquariums. They continue watching birds from their windows. They continue feeding ducks at ponds. They continue naming squirrels that visit their gardens. And perhaps that is one of the most remarkable aspects of being human. Most animals focus almost exclusively on members of their own species. Humans do something extraordinary. We form emotional connections across species boundaries. We welcome animals into our homes. We give them names. We celebrate their lives. We mourn their deaths. We spend enormous amounts of time, money, and emotion caring for creatures that evolved along completely different evolutionary paths. The urge comes from many places at once. A brain evolved to notice life, a deep attraction to the natural world, instincts designed to nurture vulnerable creatures, the emotional power of touch, a fascination with the extraordinary, and a curiosity that never completely disappears. Together, these forces push humans toward the same thought over and over again: go say hello. Most of the time, that instinct helps create some of the most meaningful relationships people will ever experience. Occasionally, however, it convinces someone that petting a bear is a reasonable idea, which explains why wildlife experts remain employed, and why somewhere, right now, a person is standing in front of a zoo enclosure, staring at a lion, and quietly wondering, "I wonder if he'd let me pet him."